All right, ready to get started here?
Let's get moving, Bradley Wells. Bring us in. Is it almost 9 already?
Is it?
Yeah, it's 8:50.
8:50.
Wow, again. Yeah,
Toby,
like we said, we're
coming down.
starting at 7-ish.
It's a broad-ish.
All right. Today is June 22nd. This is episode 23 of Talk Story. We're live here from First Surf Shop in South Beach, Miami Beach.
South Beach, Miami.
Florida, United States.
South Beach, the best beach.
America.
We are. Are we united?
Still.
I can't
Still,
even,
just
I'm
temporarily,
just
though.
throwing bombs right out the back.
Wow.
Let's just go through the reports and everything, and then we'll get back into it.
So I'm Brad Wilson, ThankYouSurfing. We got,
Christian de la Iglesia, First Surf Shop, Division Wynwood.
and we got a special guest today. Joe, introduce
Spey.
yourself.
Joe
My name's Joe
Spey.
Spey.
That's all we get.
We'll probably have to black out the screen after this. So if when we edit this, you don't see Joe Spy, there's somebody there. There's somebody there. I promise.
Just randomly talking here and there.
It'll be all discombobulated, his
I
voice.
can't even talk while can't even call him past Joe Spy.
His appearance has been modified to protect his innocence.
His
Like
name,
all of our innocence.
his name is really Joe Spirelli.
Well, now we're dead. We're all dead. Now we have all of
That's
America
okay.
I
coming
thought I
after us.
told you no full names.
Oh gosh.
Let's go put you in a pretzel right here.
And I actually sweated. I was like, wait, was that his real name?
I know, and I brought mustard.
Oh crap.
Mustard.
Weekly happenings. What do we got going on in the neighborhood? What's going on? I mean,
what are we? We're in June. It's
we're-
the summer. What
yeah,
the hell's
it's-
going on?
it's-
nothing. It's hot as hell outside. It's
next week
really
is
hot.
No.
Yeah, next week I leave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for I'll be at Agenda at the trade show in
Oh, so
California.
something is
at
happening.
Long Beach. I leave on Wednesday, so our Friday show we could either do out of my hotel
Oh.
room and do a little duel, or I could be at a fun little punk bar and do it out of there. Although they might look at me a little weird. I mean, most people do already, so it's kind of works out.
So that means Caleb, it's me and you next week,
Look at you guys.
Awesome.
and we'll get you up on the screen.
Oh, look, there's us.
I guess.
We're gonna have to break
Yeah,
into
so
the.
pass
we
out
have to
the
break
really-
into the shop.
I'll leave
someone
you
will
guys
be here.
keys.
Oh, okay.
Nice. All right,
We're getting-
so
we're getting
Past that, there
promoted.
isn't much going on otherwise. I mean, we just had an amazing event this
That was
past
super
Saturday.
cool. Yeah,
We
a lot
had
of
for
fun.
International Go Surf Day. We had an event here with Surfrider. They got to kind of talk to people about the Blue Water program they have going on in regards to water quality testing that we do out of here.
true.
And so it was a great event.
sold some.
All your tacos were pretty much gone. I mean, it was
15
like this
pounds.
thick. It was this
15
thick
pounds
of
of pork.
pulled pork that he cooked for tacos, and it all went out.
yeah,
And,
I was pretty surprised.
Right, and our neighbors next door over at South Beach Tavern dropped a couple of items as
South
well.
Point Tavern?
South Point Tavern.
I got you.
Had dropped a couple of appetizers for us. And it was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
very nice.
And you know, more than anything else, it's like this community spirit that really gets me going and keeps me moving forward because it's like they come in, everybody kind of participates, gives a little something.
That was awesome.
And that's kind of cool. And then everybody's just been telling me how cool and fun it was. And it's like one of those like, yeah, we need to do this more often.
It would be fun.
For sure, because I missed it because I was.
Oh, that's
diving.
right. No, you stopped in for like 2 seconds.
I
Did you get a
came-
taco even?
No, they weren't. They weren't up and running yet.
No.
But yeah, it was super cool. We had Surfrider and then we had DJ here. We had
Yep.
all the photographers hang up their work.
Yep, that was pretty
Oscar,
cool.
thanks a lot for hang. Keegan, intern Keegan,
Yes,
that was
Keegan.
awesome.
Keegan's our new intern. He was supposed to be
Killing it.
here tonight and
but
do
he's
stuff.
probably winning a water polo match.
Well, I saw that his message to us was that he won.
Oh, nice.
What are the educational requirements for an intern at a surf shop? I'm just.
Breathing,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
be young, don't care if we go ahead and just roust you. You know, things that come with being young.
Don't be a
where you're
jerk.
just like, oh my God, these
So,
guys are
so
older.
it's
There's so
basically
much-
an indentured servant or a slave,
you know,
per se.
tomato.
Okay. We get that.
Is I don't know how indentured he is, really. 'cause he's
No,
not even
because
here.
he'd be here.
You need to get that mouth bite because he may run away.
Oh God. Poor kid.
Well, now he's gone.
Yeah,
for sure.
no, he's
like
like
indentured
watching
servant.
right now. He's like, oh, I'm gonna
I had
Google-
no idea I was a servant. I thought I was just hanging out with a bunch of cool guys.
That's what we'll say. You're hanging out with a bunch of cool guys.
But actually, I gotta say, I was very impressed with his work ethic. The kid was running around, handing out stickers, filming stuff. He ran to the store to buy more tortilla because we ran out at some point. All the photos got hung really because of him,
Right.
and he ran home to get some fishing line. So,
And that's super
just,
important.
really
Like,
killing it.
like certain work ethics kind of follow with you throughout your whole life.
Sure.
And he like nailed it right off the bat. And it's
Very
one of those things where
surprising.
it's important. If you're young, if you're looking to kind of impress somebody, just do more, say less. Like people say stuff and this and that. Just,
I don't know about
just-
that. Keegan actually he's kind of a Weisenheimer. He's got a really quick wit. So like,
But he was doing stuff.
right,
So at the
that's
end of the day,
whole
I'm
thing.
just like,
he can walk the walk
Right.
and talk the talk.
right.
So it's
Well,
pretty funny.
It's important.
I like it.
It's important. And he kind of just like, we're like, hey, you want to be an intern on what we got? He's like, absolutely. And that wasn't until to do actually work the next week. And then he's like, all right, so what can I do now? And I'm like, oh, okay. So we got to go get this happening. And boom, boom, boom.
Exactly.
He's making things happen. So it's great. It's
Super
one of those
cool.
where like, all right, I see where you're going. And that has a lot to do, I think, with his parents.
Usually.
Kind of give you that kind of
Push,
backbone and
yeah.
push and kind of understanding of what's good. So Keegan, we're stoked on you so far.
That's a weekly happening.
Maybe come in and work.
Yeah, no.
Let me get
seriously.
more stoked on you again.
Day off already?
Especially since you're unpaid, Keegan.
Well,
No unpaid days off.
he did keep the change from the tortillas after accounting for every single cent with the receipt. I was like, wow. Yeah, you can keep the change. Good job.
Nice.
Nice work.
You can go with those $3.72.
I think I gave him I kept the $3.72, and I think I gave him the tenner.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we got like 3 packs of gum in South Beach for that. Enjoy, Keegan.
Or one Modelo.
Well,
Don't tell your dad.
yeah, seriously. Any other weekly happenings going on? 4th of July is coming up. Anything going on? Twin Week's coming up. I know you guys are planning
Yeah,
on doing something or other.
we're still about 3 weeks out from that. So until then, unless there's something going on in the way of waves,
Report and forecast.
there we go. Yeah.
Boy, that
Let's
says
move on.
all,
So
doesn't it?
on to topics.
Well, I mean, it's not as bad as it could be, I suppose. There's like some small uptick in like some trade swell that's going to come up way north of the Bermuda Shadow. I mean, the Bahama Shadow. So like your wave magnets in central to North Florida will pick up a long boardable wave, slightly short boardable at the best spots
Woohoo!
and tides.
I got something to look forward to.
Hell yeah. I'm going to come up and surf with you. Because it's going to be super duper flat here for the foreseeable future.
Well, have we mentioned that Joe's based out of Melbourne?
We have not.
Okay,
Melbourne.
so he's Melbourne, Florida. And so you are a born and raised local?
I was born on Long Island.
Oh, me too.
For historical purposes, but I moved to Melbourne in '67, and I have grew up there, surfed there through my youth and teenage years. Went to Orlando to go to college, and moved back to the Melbourne area in 2001, and have been there ever since.
It's pretty epic.
And glad to be back because
So
I
you're gonna get a
really
longboard
hated
wave
Orlando.
shortly.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we're
hopefully.
not. But we'll be so hungry at that point, they'll be like,
We'll drive up for that.
Longboard
Yeah.
wave? Oh, you know what else am I going to go see up there?
Couple of knee slappers.
Yeah, that sounds kind of good about this
The
one.
Angry Inch.
I'm in.
So the report and forecast is that there's really not much happening except for that there is a new southwest, actually more of like a south-southwest swell filling in for Central America. So if you're going to Central America over this weekend, you are pretty pumped. And I saw Indian Ocean
Loca,
also.
loca.
Yeah, our friend over there
In the Bali area.
in Bali.
Our
has
employee,
got
Brandon.
another swell coming in. I mean, it's just.
I mean,
on
this is the
repeat.
time of year, though. that-
Yeah. So I mean, Brandon, get waves for us, please. Send more pictures of waves. I've been following those stories.
So Joe can follow up. We had an employee here, Brandon, and he was due to come back from Bali last week, and called me about
Lo
5
and
days before
behold.
that, and was
Yeah.
just like, "So."
I can't believe he gave you 5 days. That was actually.
Here's my surprise face.
Right. He was all like, "So I kind of got like an intern gig here to be a surf instructor. They're gonna pay for my place to stay." And
Chris is like, is there
food."
another opportunity
Right.
for a guy around my age?
Right.
I've got a good
So
mustache.
they take older guys. So he was like, they want me to stay here till like September, October. I'm like, how am I gonna say no? I'm like, he's 20, or he's like 20. He's not even 21 yet. And I was just like, all day, do it.
Brandon, we'd really
you live
prefer you
once.
just came home.
No.
No, go.
Yeah.
Kill it. So
Have
So-
a soap party if you came back. Just beat him with a
Yeah, it'd be
pillowcase
worse.
full of soap for
If
being
you
a
came
dumbass.
back- right. You're like, so apparently you're not a surfer. And but no, he's staying out there and he's stoked on
move.
it, and now
Wise
he's
move.
just getting nothing but surf, and we're not. So maybe I'm a little pissed.
That's
right
the
now.
forecast.
Maybe you should come back home.
Jealous,
Because I'm
not
mad.
pissed.
The forecast
just
is
jealous.
Right.
Forecast is for jealousy in every ocean,
Right.
other than ours.
With a hint of "f you."
Could smell that. It's in the
Yeah.
air a little.
Call me, where are you?
Send me a plane ticket.
So nothing's happening around here locally.
Yeah, not very much going on. I mean, I said like that little bit of trade swell towards the end of next week. Other than that,
You know what I do see out there?
blah.
A little seaweed swell.
Ooh, yeah. So report has changed towards seaweed reporting. There's a lot of sargassum in the Caribbean this year.
A lot.
Yeah, like other
Everywhere.
islands.
Did you guys?
Are you guys
have
getting
a
any up
pile
there?
of- Oh my God! It was like,
Oh, so
What?
you guys are getting up in Melbourne too?
oh, I mean, halfway up the beach, like
Right.
tens of yards, like a foot or so thick. It was so
Right.
horrible. You couldn't
In the
even stand
water
the
as well,
smell.
or just shoreline?
The day we went was shoreline.
Right.
And it was we went tried to enjoy the beach for like a half hour and it's like, oh my God, I can't stand the smell. We're
Wow,
leaving.
you're right.
It was
was
thick.
horrible.
The smell was pretty thick.
Dude,
actually,
it's
this evening.
hardcore, and it's all the way down here. So that's impressive that it's reaching all the way.
Well, it's all the way.
Right, I know, and then all into the Caribbean.
You know what's different this year than in the last 5 years for us? So I'm a spear fisherman as well, diver spear fisherman. We didn't get the flip this year, where the cold water upwells along the beach, where right now it should be like 70 degrees in
Right.
the water or something like that.
Right.
It's still nice and warm. So I wonder if the two are tied somehow.
Well, they were saying, I saw some reports out there in regards to a little bit of the global warming, or at least maybe the El Nino effect. Are we El Nino in the
Nino.
summer? Nino in the summer. Is creating more of a bloom. But again, I didn't really dwell into that.
I know not enough about it to comment.
Right.
I know that the sea surface temperatures in the tropical Atlantic are below average this year.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
So I don't know if that
Right,
argues
right,
for or against
right.
what you're saying,
Yeah.
but
Maybe we'll have
for
a
hurricane
less
season.
violent summer hurricane season,
But then,
huh?
it's even times like that where like Andrew was a landfalling hurricane, major catastrophic hurricane during a season that was not supposed to be much of anything. So keep watching.
Yeah,
Keep
right.
watching here. Keep watching. Thank you, surfing.
Yeah.
I will be on top of it because I am looking for something to do. Anything to do
Yeah.
with weather and surfing.
Labor Day surf time, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's all we got down here.
Let's get into the next topic then, because the forecast is dismal.
Wah,
Except for getting on a plane. And that was the other thing.
Right,
Nicaragua
Nicaragua.
right now, deteriorating further.
Yeah.
It would seem the political situation, the social unrest has continued to escalate. There's been more violence of the sort that we've been talking about. So the lineups are uncrowded. If you are a single guy and
With
don't
nothing to
Adventurous.
lose.
nothing to lose and adventurous and don't have to come back to the States anytime soon.
Right. Again,
go
the,
for it.
the surf camps down there have
Right.
their drivers, and they have things where they say they can kind of figure it out. So I've heard reports of people coming back and being like, hey, because we've managed to go through that, it's fine. But again, I think you have to be someone that's willing to be adventurous
just
and
know
be
what- like
willing
we said.
and be willing to be to think that, hey,
Nicaragua Surf Camp Groupon.
Right.
Just come on down, take your chances.
I mean, anywhere you travel, you're always kind of taking your chances, and it just so happens that in this situations, you need to be slightly more aware than you had been getting
Right.
on your Spirit
Right.
Airlines 11 o'clock flight
Right.
out of Fort Lauderdale,
Right.
5 beers deep.
maybe don't
Just
go 5
saying.
years here.
Just saying.
Just stop at 3.
But yeah, the rest of Latin America getting lots of swell right now, so go surf.
I mean, it's safe to say that going to the rest of Latin America is probably going to get more expensive because so many people went to Nicaragua and aren't going to go anymore.
Think that you have way too much faith in the swinging of currency
Okay.
due to surf travel.
All right, well, I'm just saying. Keep an eye on it.
I mean, there's one less place to go to.
One
those-
less really good place to go to.
Yeah, at least for us, but I don't know how that affects anything globally. That's an interesting
Well,
question,
Nicaragua, we're
actually.
pulling for you. We hope
Yeah.
things kind of make
Seriously,
it happen.
That's really the most important thing. Is like surfs aside. I mean, these people are fighting for like what they consider their basic human rights. So
Right. And if you're looking to go, Shane Loretta up at Chancleta Surf Resort up in the northern part of Nicaragua have a bunch of great taxi drivers that are maneuvering and finagling through the waves that have been doing fine. They haven't gotten as many people as they'd like, but the people that have gone through from Keckley, said it was all good, and they were scoring on crowded waves. So again, you got that adventurous spirit.
That's what to do.
It adds a little flavor to the trip, right?
Yes.
For sure.
A little excitement.
Nothing says like excitement of, am I coming home?
Yeah. Will this car make it?
Isn't that happen on every surf?
Yeah, I mean, most of the cars you jump into,
Charlie,
I hope this car
don't
makes
surf.
it. But Poncho does.
All right, let's get into the next thing here. Joe is a longtime local from up in the Melbourne area, so we
Yeah.
thought it'd be kind of interesting to get your perspective on what's gone down since you started surfing there. I guess as a kid, maybe. And
Oh, wow.
Since, what are the major changes? Well, what's the same?
Well-
'Cause, I mean, we've gotten into this a lot on previous episodes about what happened to you.
Yeah. I mean, Lou and I were talking today about your first.
Lou Lozada, photograph in the audience.
Yep. Your.
There you go.
Hey.
There you go.
He was talking about your break here in South Beach, and how it's a small break, and if it was very repeatable, if you had waves here every day, just how
talking. I'm
immensely
listening.
how crowded it would be, right? If it was just a lot more reliable, and
I like that.
Sebastian Inlet is one of those breaks that is pretty reliable.
Right.
And when I was a kid, I could ride First Peak. I could show up on a Saturday morning with my duct taped up GNS 6.2 twin fin swallowtail board and paddle out to First Peak.
Year?
And I
What
could
years
ride
are we
it.
talking about?
I'm
What year?
guessing this has got to be
We're talking
Late 80s?
81,
Right. Oh,
82.
maybe.
just
Right.
based on the board.
Oh, yeah, 81, 82. And,
I mean, because there's some heavies that are in Sebastian Inlet in general, and there's and more so back then. You
Corky
had,
Carroll was
right,
down there,
right.
all
you had
throughout the
Crawford,
Slater word.
right, Crawford.
I dropped in on him one time and
Right.
almost got my butt kicked because I dropped in on him. He was a 13-year-old kid. I didn't know who
golden
the hell he
boy.
was, But you don't fuck with Kelly. Who Kelly? Who? Whatever. But
You know that Kelly who?
Kelly who?
he was 13. Who the hell knew what
Now
he
he
was?
just got that many world titles.
Yeah, like 10 in a row or something,
guess he did something.
World famous. Yeah, I dropped in on you, buddy. But, First Peak was attainable. I could show up and I could literally go out and ride it.
Wow.
Today, oh my God, I'd be.
Because I feel like as a kid growing up and going up there, it was like First Peak you didn't do. Like
No.
that was like you're like past the OK sign.
Go
you're
third
just like
peak, go
right,
Spanny
right,
House.
right.
That's for
Third
you.
peak to Spanish House is where I
I
went.
used to look up from Spanish House and be like scared to
Right.
look south of it.
Right,
Oh,
because you had all those heavies. You had like the Spears. You had your Keckleys. You had your Slaters, and I mean,
Jeff
you-
Futch.
your Futch,
Hobgoods.
your Crawfords, your
yeah.
Hobgoods.
Hobby
You had all these guys
Well,
that were just
Hobgoods were
killing.
later.
They were probably still shitting their
That's-
pants when I was
right, that's
surfing
my
there.
age group.
But either way, it was a much less crowded wave. And I don't know if I just have selective memory or what, but it seems like on the weekends I could go every weekend and surf. Every weekend. And maybe it was because I was 16 years old, 150 pounds. I could catch a ripple, and it really didn't matter.
Yeah.
I was going to the beach. I was surfing. We'd go at dawn break, for dawn patrol. Before the sun came up, we were heading there every morning on the weekends. We'd surf for 3-4 hours, go get some coffee and donuts, go back for another 4 hours, get some lunch, and go back. No
That was
suntan
it. That was the life.
lotion.
Yeah.
No suntan lotion, no rash guards. It was just
No
like
worries.
gorilla surfing. It was just crazy. None of this stuff. But now it's like, oh man, if it ain't 4-foot glass, I think I have to mow the yard or something. I don't know. Maybe I've just gotten like jaded or old, slow.
Right.
Because we're talking fast forward
Adult
35 years
problems.
now, right?
Adult problems.
Oh yeah. 35 years later, I'm a lot slower. I'm not riding that 5'8" quiet flight quad
You
thruster.
still barking at people from First Peak or what?
Yeah. Well, now I'm like way on the outside on my 9.6. Coming through. Get out of my way. whistling at kids, you know.
How's
Just-
the break? Because I know that the break's changed over the years.
You know, it's been a pretty consistent beach break at Spessard. I'll throw that out there. Spessard South is where I normally go. And there's a sandbar out there that holds a pretty good wave. And, you know, if the hurricane comes up, I'm heading. You know, I was out there, 2 weeks ago? Yeah. I had my 7'6" foam board, knee boarding waves, you know, that were like nipple high. Let me stand up. I'm 6'7".
6'7".
So, you
We're
know, if you see me on a chest high wave, it's probably overhead for you. But, you know, just having a ball, you know, there's something about surfing. There's something about riding that wave that just brings out the kid in you, you know?
that's for sure.
And it takes you back, you know, no longer do I hurt on my knees or my back or whatever. It's like, I'm riding this wave. I'm having a fucking fun
It's crazy.
time.
I have bad knees, and they hurt all the time, and I can't squat or do whatever. But as soon as you get in the water, all of a sudden, whatever your mind wants to do, it tries to do. I mean, it tries to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tries.
So sometimes your knees kind of kick back and be like, liar. You can't,
Or
do,
at the
you
end,
can't do that.
The end of the session where
Right.
you're like, my
Yeah, you're
mind
like-
says I'm gonna
right,
get parallels.
right, right.
My body says I'm going over
Oh,
the
yeah.
falls.
And then at night you're like, do I need to ice these things? Because
And
they're hurt.
it, you know, it's crazy as you get older. I mean, you guys are younger than me, but I was fearless when I was a kid. You know, it didn't matter. I was paddling it. I'm dropping in. I don't care if I'm getting drilled on shore pound or just getting held down for, you know, I don't know how long under some just heavy, you know, I actually blew out a knee riding some hurricane surf. I don't know which year, you know, but now it's like, ooh, you know, do I really want to drive? And, you know, but just to say, you know, that thrill of catching that wave, I snapped my 9.6 in half. Was it Gonzalo? Hurricane
was a good
Gonzalo? I just came up to just get a little floater off the lip on this, like, probably a little over a head high wave, and it pitched me. And the board landed, and I went right across it and broke it in two. I mean, just. But, you know, it was like, I'm doing it. I don't care, man. In my mind, I'm 17, 16, 18 years.
It's really the most dynamic part about surfing. It really is. It's like one of those where you're just like, it's like eternal youth. Like you're just a grom. You're always just like, I know every time, even if it's like knee to waist high out here, you come out there and you're like, take the longboard. Oh, it's kind of punchy.
Need a knee high.
I know. And you're like, man, that knee high looks really punchy and fun. God, I want to punch myself every time I say stuff like that. But it's true. Sometimes our knee high, this kind of knee to waist high is kind of punchy and
This is the
fun.
only punchy knee high wave.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, we need Jovan. Where's
I know,
Jovan?
Seriously, but it's true. It's like you know, because I like longboarding as well. I've got a 9.6, but I also like jumping on these real wide, fat, smaller boards and
like
stuff like
chippies?
that. And then you jump on them, and all of a sudden you're just in your mind, you're like, I'm killing it. And then somebody takes a picture, and you're like, oh, I should just been on my longboard.
Yeah,
Why am I even trying that? It's so embarrassing.
You know,
Video's the worst.
I fortunately have ended up on one video that somebody else took that, you know, was had wide distribution. You know, I've got a very long last name, which is longer than Spey, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is. But if you Googled it, that's the one thing that comes up. Is this obscure?
The one thing you'd wish you'd be able to put to bed, and it comes up.
Because when I came off the board, I'm walking out the beach, and a guy goes, "Hey, what's your name?" Because I got a video of you. I'm like, blah blah blah, whatever. And if you Google my name, it's this video from Hurricane Danny. I don't know what year that was. Probably 5-6 years ago.
You're probably gonna give away enough information right now for someone.
They'll
to
never find
Google
me.
this.
You want to bet? Let's go.
Hurricane Danny, Joe.
Caleb's like Spy. Got your last name.
Hurricane Danny, Joe Spy.
But you know, I look at the video, and I'm like, okay, you know, it. In my mind, like you said, I was just shredding it, you know, just ripping off the lip, you know, just dropping in big bottom turns, and I looked at it, I was
Reality's
like,
so harsh. It really is.
I don't know. Maybe I
Sure
should
that was the
have.
same wave?
Right.
Yeah,
I almost want to call the guy out and be like, why didn't you edit it?
Yeah, no, that wasn't me.
Could you just drop me on the floor of that editing room? I mean,
Or how about we just don't post that?
but you know, hey, it's my claim to fame. Whatever.
Joe Spy.
Joe Spy.
Hurricane Danny. Look it up.
So what else has changed up there in Melbourne? I mean,
So There's
there's a lot
I mean,
more
it's-
development since I've been going.
I was
going to
say a lot more
2000.
development, a lot more, and
So,
he
like
pumps
15,
sand on the
20
beach too, you
Oh,
know, which
that's a whole
changes
other thing.
things every day.
How is that going up there? I know they did a big.
Well, we were talking about
project.
Second Light earlier and stuff. And
Second
stuff like
Light,
that.
I
Has that changed much? I mean, Patrick, Second Light, that whole area. I mean,
you know, I don't go up to Second Light too often.
Right.
It holds a much deeper, wedgier wave.
right.
You know, because of the rocks. But it is convenient for me to get to. I can hop on 95 and I can probably be there in half an hour. But yeah, that and RCs I don't hit too often anymore, just because, like we talked about, the
Right.
crowding
Right.
and very tribal up there, so you've got to really be aggressive to get into those waves a lot of times. So. You know, I kind of go to the mom and pop, you know, kid park down at
Right.
Spessard.
But
where,
that's the thing. There's like
'Cause I
a
wanna enjoy
million
myself.
of those waves.
I want to
up
enjoy
there.
myself. I want to, you know,
outside of those marquee spots in your
There's-
area. I mean, there is literally tens of miles of beaches to surf.
and you know, realistically, it's not too terribly different.
That's the crazy part.
From Sebastian all the way up to the
Yeah.
port. You know, Cocoa Beach. You know,
Base is slightly
it
different.
has a much shallower bottom. You know, so you get a longer, smaller wave. So on those really small days, it's better. And maybe even if it's a southeast swell, it'll hold it a little bit better. If you're talking like big waves, you know, well, really long period swell, sure.
Oh, I don't know if you want to give away all these secrets.
I'm not going. So, you know, you guys up there in Satellite and Patrick that are screwing me over and not letting me get on them. Those long period swells.
Sorry, guys.
Those long period swells. That's
if
where you
I'm
want
up
to go.
there, don't.
You know those 4 or 5 foot, you know, 14, 13 second period swells. Man, RCs, Second Light.
I'm gonna have to shave
That's
my
where you wanna
mustache
go.
now if I surf up there. Seriously.
I'm like over here sweating. I'm like, it wasn't me for the
I-
records.
I carry a knife in
Rocking
my
back and forth.
wetsuit. I
I
carry a
know.
knife in my
I
wetsuit, so
know.
don't mess with me. But it, you know, I like I said, I'm a little worried about pain. I'm a little worried about injury, so I tend to go towards that mellow end. You
Right.
know?
I mean, that's
Try-
what it's supposed to
try
be
get
anyway,
that.
right? We're supposed to go
God, I guess
surf
we
and have
are
a good
really
time.
And have fun, right?
Yeah, so what the hell?
Seriously.
Any day I get to walk away from is a good one. You know, I remember taking my daughter and her friend one time to the beach, and I don't remember exactly what the circumstances was, but I got hit in the head with the board. You know, like I caught a wave, I jumped off, and as I'm coming up, boom, right in the face with the board. About knocked me out. I get to the
Yeah.
beach, and I'm like, tried to walk out the beach and just face planted into the sand.
Did you really?
Oh my God.
Face planted, just
Wow.
flat out, just boom. I tried to get up and I stumbled across the beach and people come over and are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I got hit by the board. Oh, you must have a concussion. You're like, well, maybe I do. You know, they're like, you should go to the ER. I'm like, well, I got these 2 kids with me. What am I going to do with the 2 kids? Yeah, I know. Let's drive them home. So I got in the car and drove them home, and
With a
then
concussion.
and then I went to the ER, and they did a brain scan. We don't find anything, you know, and we
Did
don't
they find
we-
the brain?
They didn't find the brain.
Okay, I was just wondering. 'cause
They just
that's
shined a
important.
flashlight straight on through.
And it's so weird. They're like, look, you can see right through.
I thought the ER was or the MRI machine was a little bit more advanced than a flashlight, but apparently it's not. They just boom right straight on through. You're cool,
Liars.
and no concussion, but it blew out my eardrum.
That's why you fell.
That was
And
it.
shocked
so I'm like, oh, this sucks, you know.
Lose
all these
your equilibrium.
all these years of putting in earplugs when I mowed and used the weed eater to save my hearing, and I blow it out on a surf trip.
Is there? How do you
surfboard.
recover from that? Because I know it's just time and just.
Interestingly enough, they used cigarette paper on my eardrum to create a matrix for it to just heal itself, and it's fine now.
Wow.
So yeah, because I go diving all the time. Because
And-
if
and it
it
doesn't
hadn't
bother
healed,
you?
nope. If it hadn't healed, I would have had water
Right.
gushing in through my
Right.
eardrum.
So they put a rolling paper here?
Cigarette paper?
Maybe
Was it
you know I
rolling
did
paper or was it
feel a little
cigarette
bit more relaxed
I was
after
gonna
the
say, I was like,
procedure.
Like, hey man.
This is very interesting.
This
So Chicken Chomp Chop, hey man, I heard you got a busted eardrum,
Let me
man.
Was that what
put that in your
doctor
ear,
did you
you're
go
like,
to?
So
Was
this guy walks in.
I was gonna say little nice dreams going on over here.
that was one of those
interesting.
special Cali doctors.
Right. Right. All of a sudden, they're putting something in your ear and they're just like firing it up over here, and someone's sucking it out of your other ear. You're like, let me pull this through. You're like, oh my God, this actually works.
It worked. And, because I had this constant hissing noise, and it's gone now. So
Amazing.
there you go. Medical science.
You guys are doing
Stay in
a great
school,
job,
kids.
Sigrid.
All right, speaking of hearing, I think this is a segue. We're going to get into the next topic tonight, which Christian brought up earlier, which was, what about music and surf? It's kind of a thing.
Because there's one of those things where you listen to music and it puts you in different places.
That's true.
Right, and it's an amazing thing that I think I was watching a surf video this morning, stuff like that, which is kind of what probably spawned it. And you hear certain music, and there's like, for example, Jack Johnson and September Sessions, the surf.
I was thinking
movie.
Riders of the Storm.
Right. Well, there's that as well. But all of it, like music in general, puts you in a different place
Like
and
the
stuff like that.
intro to Endless Summer by the Sandals. I mean, it's so iconic. You hear that and you're like, oh, I feel like I should smell surf wax or be booking a plane
Dick
ticket.
Dale in the way that he
Little
shreds on the
coconut
guitar.
Dr. Zog.
Right, exactly.
Dick Dale in the way that he shreds on the guitar.
Yeah.
The Beach Boys and what
That
they're your little
tremolo.
surfer girl. Right? So like there are all these different things, or I mean, the '90s and all the Lost videos that you had Pennywise, you
Well,
had
that's a
Blink
whole
182, you had Motorhead, you had all these guys that were like in all these different levels. Like I feel like that, like surf videos in the '60s and the '70s, from your Morning of the Earth and all that stuff, was very just like cosmic,
Yeah.
right? It was.
Did you say Zach Brown too?
Oh, I missed Zach Brown, but you're right. Zach Brown is an epic.
He's the one that I usually tag on to his surf videos.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's funny, and
Knee
like-
deep in the water somewhere.
I mean, I feel like all of us at some point have always figured, for as great or bad as we are in surfing, that if there was some sort of video clip that you had, like if you had to have like a music that went along with your video clip, what would it be?
That's the easiest way to kill a drive from like Hako to Pabonas.
Easily. You could just go into that.
6 hours of like, you know what my section's gonna have? Me falling to this song.
But music in itself, again, so dynamic, and then you put it to something that it's got so much dynamic in it, like surfing, that both things pull so much on the emotion. It's so impressive. And I guess, like, in just bringing up the topic, it was more along the lines of why? Like, what is it that is within certain types of music that applies to certain types of surfing, that applies to certain type of people, that it all just kind of works? Is it because music is just dynamic on its own and it really taps into the emotion?
There's so many layers to that.
Exactly. That's why we chose it as a
There's
topic.
there's the thing. I mean, look at all the surfers that are also musicians. You got your Curran, your Slater, your Jack Johnson. I mean, these are just like the top guys. But then you also have soundtracks, which is a whole other aspect of it.
Of people that are musicians that tapped into surfing.
Right. And then there's this other weird thing that I've come across that I realized that, like, I listened to a lot of music on surf soundtracks that became popular music years later. Jack Johnson, for example. Like, you were listening to that stuff, Sublime, The Shins, Pennywise. I mean, there was all these underground movements, but it somehow was like the surf movies picked the music better than anybody else could, because that's what became popular later.
I find that being in the surf industry for almost 20 years now, and just watching videos and all that other stuff, I almost started choosing videos to watch according to their soundtrack.
Oh, it has a lot to do with it.
Because there's certain soundtracks where you're just like, oh, that video's epic. Please hit mute.
Right, yeah.
Where you're watching the video, you're just like, oh, it's such good surfing, but all of a sudden you hit unmute, and you're like, oh, it's so painful.
Or it's just the wrong vibe. So you want to watch the surfing, but
right,
you're like,
and you wonder how that's right.
yeah, I know all those, like the Josh Palmer videos,
Right.
the Kill videos,
Right.
Kill 1 through, God, I don't know where they started. They maybe haven't stopped yet, but they're up to at least 8. And those are all non-stop punk rock.
I think Taylor Steele, for
minute and a
example,
half to 2.5 minutes. Next song, you're like, oh my gosh! Like again. It's
and you
it's great
and
if
you
you're
get
getting amped up,
and you
like,
get where they're coming
7
from.
cups of coffee,
high impact,
let's go.
this and that. You're like, let me watch this real clip real quick before I paddle out.
Right.
And it's like getting that like, little junkiness going.
like a
You're like,
shot,
oh, I'm
you're
so
like,
amped. Yeah, you're like, I'm so amped. All right, I'm going out there, and then you're like beefing it every little time.
Perhaps I overamped.
Which is more than likely the case.
Yeah.
But like Taylor Steele, for example.
Too much Pennywise.
As
Too
a
much
producer
Pennywise.
of so many great videos that came out in the late 90s and the early 2000s and stuff like that. Like Sipping Jet Streams, for example. You know,
Amazing soundtrack.
It is such a great soundtrack and such a great movie that could apply to anybody that's not a surfer.
Well, that's because he was a filmmaker, not a filmmaker.
Because back then, when we used to sell DVDs out of surf shops. Really? We used to sell DVDs out of surf shops? It's so crazy.
You should have like a whole vintage rack here because I still have a VHS.
Right. I mean, it's just obsolete. But like back then, like when people would be like, hey.
What about when the cable goes out?
Yeah.
Now who's got obsolete? Yeah. Come to my place. You can watch all these old
Well,
DVDs.
if you're not married or don't have a girlfriend.
Well, since you mentioned that, I mean, surf
I got DVDs.
Because otherwise, I
And
know
they
what's
don't
going
even
on.
talk back.
I mean, how distressed were you when you're like watching that surf video or ESPN Hot Summer Nights or whatever? You're like all amped up, you know,
ESPN
and all of a
Hot
sudden
Summer
you
Nights
like grab.
with Corky Carroll.
I was gonna say I grabbed the phone to check the surfboard. I was like, it's ankle slappers.
976, right.
Oh yeah. That's
That's such a
It's
star
like
killer.
surf porn, you know.
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, I'm gonna go get a date. Oh no.
yeah. Oops. Overamped.
I mean, that in itself is a whole segment, though. The overamping and being a Florida surfer. In general, of like
sheer
you're seeing all these things that
disappointment.
get you amped up, and then you have nothing to go ahead and just release it into.
It's like, it's May.
Yeah,
I'll see you in September.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to bed.
Especially when you start watching all these movies nowadays, or not even movies, but like just the short clips.
Right now, they're doing the smaller clips, right?
And so it's a whole other thing, and it's like making me depressed, like in 30 seconds.
You know what would be really fun is to like put a bunch of videos up there and like post date it. Say, oh, we did this on June 22nd. You know, like this fantastic surf. You don't know where we were. It was Florida somewhere, just to mess with people.
Oh gosh, it happens to me. I mean, someone came in the other day, and actually it was Joey. Joey's like, "Hey, you catch it earlier?" And I was like, "What happened? What happened?" And I was like, "I know that it's been flat. I've been looking at the ocean all day, but for some reason,
there's that thing that gets
yeah,
you.
he was like,
Yes,
gotcha. You know, I was like, gotcha. How did you get me? It's like I think it's just like there's some sort of factoring that goes on when it's like how desperate you get and how
You want
gullible
to
you
so
are.
badly to get out there. You're willing to believe anything.
That's exactly
Oh,
right.
a cruise ship came in and cost one wave, and I rode it for an hour.
Which back in the day down here, you get that, Lou? You got a little to the left. Well, there.
You know, you watch a video of these
Pulling
like
both in.
super tankers coming into Galveston, and guys like surfing these waves. Like, I'm heading to Galveston.
I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna go help these guys out real quick.
We've got a guest coming in.
Keep them out. It's the zombies. What do they want?
There it is.
There you go.
There we go. And we're in. So we came a little into surf movies, not so much surf music there, but yeah, I guess the point is there is like a very big connection between the surf film and the music. Because I could listen to the soundtrack from The Endless Summer 2 or The Endless Summer 1 or September Sessions, and I could pretty much picture every single turn, wave,
Oh, yeah.
location, scene, dialogue. I'm a surf junkie, so I guess
Hey.
I might be alone in that, but
No,
it's
no,
very
I don't think
impactful.
so.
You know,
I think everybody's got, some connection, to those movies and where they were, what they were doing, and what they were hearing. It's kind of like walking into grandma's house and smelling cookies or
Yeah,
turkey
yeah,
or
exactly.
something.
It's
It just immediately takes you back to, the first time you saw that movie or the first time you went surfing in a certain spot, and it's just nostalgic. I mean, it's what we as humans, kind of just. You save in your brain for a reason, right?
That's the
Because it's so
nostalgia or something, right?
it's so impactful to your life.
that's the nostalgia, I guess, that you get into, and it does recall all these things, whether it be the music or the smells or the food that you're eating, or
Still talk about surf music?
yeah, sort of.
Yeah, surf
Ish.
music, surf films.
Ish.
That first time you did this on a wave, or that first time you went to this surf spot, or that. I remember, seeing a water spout this one time, just crazy stuff, that just sticks in your brain because it's that fight or flight kind of mentality of like, I'm going to lock this in your brain because it's such a pivotal moment in your life.
It's a beautiful thing.
There's another
I mean,
thing that
I mean,
you-
with surfing, I feel like that kind of just keeps you going.
Well, that's the thing I was gonna say is that we're getting
It's like
way off the
endless.
topic.
It's like so endless in that sense where you're like, you tell people that are just learning, whether they're young or they're older, they're like, oh, I know whatever. I'm like, it takes us that one time.
Oh,
You got like for me, I get so stoked when you teach people for the first time. They've never surfed and they get to their feet and all of a sudden they're just standing there and the look on their face is so
classic.
amped. Like I get amped. I'm like all of a sudden I'm like starting all over again and that's the part that I think you get amped because you know that
What it
they're
means.
hooked.
Yeah.
At that, we're kind of hooked at that point that they're just like,
And
I want to
there's
feel
so
that
few
again.
things like that. I mean, could you
Right.
say that about golf or baseball or foot? I mean, what's that moment?
sometimes
What's
some
that
of
moment?
those.
I mean, maybe hitting a home run or something, but
Right.
you know, it's just it's never the same conditions any time. You know, every time you go out, it's different, but you gotta like
Quiet
wrestle.
on the set.
You have to wrestle with it, you know, and tame it. Maybe not tame it. Maybe tame is a bad word, but you like work with it. You know, like it's a collaboration between you and the wave, and you're gonna have fun, and you're gonna try and do this artwork thing on it, you know, and ride it to the end and step off on the sand. And,
Right.
thank you
Right.
very much.
That even taps into the whole purist thing of what we've been talking about for a couple episodes in regards to wave pools versus beach and stuff like that, and so many people freaking
Yeah,
out about
does the
wave
purity
pools.
leave?
Right, like all of a sudden you're like, oh, are you not as stoked as you were before?
Yeah,
and
the ocean's not cool anymore because we have wave pools.
Right, and I keep telling
what?
people, I'm like, I kind of think it's more in addition to and not in replacement
Yeah,
of.
That's a very good point.
You know,
I
it's just
that.
like it's not necessarily like I've got to choose between one or the other. It's just like, hey, there's that option, and there's that option. Like, go for it, have at it. You're
Oh,
either
I
going to work out in the
totally
gym or
agree.
you're going to work out on outdoors.
It would be so awesome to know that the next one that's coming up is going to be catchable. You know, that I'm not just going to paddle my arms off, get a cramp in my left calf, and go,
Right.
shoot.
But more than anything else is being a far South Florida surfer, which we have to deal with a lot of inconsistencies in regards to waves and a lot more flat spells than our brothers up north.
You're welcome. Come on up. I'll give you my address.
That it becomes like a training purpose as well. Like if you're going on a trip, which we have to do so much and being a Florida surfer,
Right.
that when you go on this trip, you don't want to wait till day 4 to be able to kind of be aligned and in tune
Yeah, not
and your
kooking
body
out.
feeling, you know,
Yeah,
kind of
it
ready.
takes a little bit to
and
get
then you're
back
just
in.
like, oh, sweet, day 4, I'm on it. I leave tomorrow. And then you come home and it's flat and whatever the case is. And it'd be
And your
great.
nipples are sore.
That week, right, you're like, epic. I came home with sore nipples. I can't surf anymore, but my nipples are sore. You know, I've got nipples. Can you milk
that's
me?
that's your purple heart, you know, from that surf trip to Nicaragua. It's not the round. It's the.
Is that what it is? Is
it's
that
a-
South Florida surfers? Are we martyrs? Are we? I mean,
Basically, it's
It's all scabby, you know.
But I mean, to be able to lead up to a trip, be able to kind of go to a place and be able to kind of just practice and just get a little bit of rhythm going, so that by the time that you go on this trip, you're like, day 1, I've got the rhythms in place. I've got this kind of wired. Let me enjoy this a little bit more and not wait till day 3 or 4.
You know, I haven't been on a surf trip in quite a while, but I know that
Come down to Costa Rica.
Yeah,
Inviting you
I mean,
guys. We
that's-
go there all the time. I'm going there about 2 weeks.
I almost
we
went.
do it at least
like
once
2
a
weeks
year.
ago because instead we went to New York City. Stupid me. But anyway,
I see the relation. New York
you
City,
know,
Costa Rica.
Yeah,
Good ways in
but,
New York.
But you know, you feel almost obligated if you're going on that trip, you know, to get out and just paddle miles and miles and miles of water, whether you're actually riding a wave or not. Just so you're like, I am going to make sure that when I get down there, I'm not cramping and I'm not wussing out after an hour in the water or whatever. I'm gonna maximize, you know, my
That's
trip.
it, maximizing the trip. Well, what
You
is
know?
that? What does maximizing the trip mean? Just that?
You know, obviously I'd love to catch a lot of really nice waves, but you know, the trip is the trip. The surf is part of the trip, right? You know, it's that camaraderie with friends.
Should be, right.
You know, sitting around at the end of the day, having a beer, talking
right.
about that wave.
Right.
Oh, it was epic! It was like 2 feet overhead, man. I dropped in.
And then J Mac comes out with the film and is like,
Yeah.
oh, actually, it was 2 feet, not 2 feet overhead.
Yeah,
And-
but you know, in my
Those fish
mind,
stories, right?
in my
No,
mind,
Yeah,
I
right,
was-
exactly. It's
Yes.
fish stories. That's why it's fun, though.
Yeah, you know, everybody's got those stories, and the really funny part about it is everybody has the exact same story about how awesome they were that day. You know,
Yes.
I'll let them have it because I know that when it comes around to
Yeah,
me,
yeah, I would do the same thing.
I'm gonna expect them to all agree
I don't
with
want
me.
them to out me, so I'm gonna you go, man. I remember that wave. You almost like ripped my head off.
I mean, Joe, it was
Spray
actually
right off
bigger
the
than
back.
that. I mean, I think it was like 3 or 4 feet overhead.
I think
minimum.
you were in that tube for at least 4 seconds.
And it's almost as if
4
you're
or 5.
it's like you're paying it forward so that whenever your
Yeah,
story
story
comes
comes
up,
in, you can
all
lie
of a
a
sudden
little
people are
bit
just
more.
like,
That's right.
dude, I saw you kill it. I didn't even see you in that barrel. And it's because I wasn't one.
So were GoPros like the worst thing or the best thing? You know. Now we have evidence.
Depends on how good your session was.
Depends if you're actually pro or not.
Like, man, evidence. Shoot.
So have you surfed much in wave pools?
I have never surfed in a wave pool.
No
Yeah.
way.
Not Typhoon.
No.
Nowhere.
Oh,
Never.
really?
Ever. Never
Hasn't
done it.
interested you, or just
Absolutely.
the moment hasn't come around?
Absolutely. I, when the wave pool up at Festival Bay in Orlando was coming up, I was highly interested. I looked.
This
I went
was
to
like
their
early
website.
2000s, right? No, like early
Somewhere
to
around
mid
there.
2000, like
Somewhere around there,
4-ish or so.
Yep. And they were selling memberships, and a lot of people I work with were buying these memberships.
I remember that.
Excuse me. And
That platinum memberships, gold memberships.
whatever. And they said, "Oh, we're going to have one in Orlando and New York
Right.
and LA." And I'm an engineer by trade, and I started looking at their tech, and I'm like, ugh. This is a highly,
good, huh? No good, huh?
well, it was a highly interesting idea, but they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be an equitable or an economical wave because we're gonna reserve the energy. Every wave that goes out, we're gonna save 80% of the energy." And I'm like, once the wave leaves, there goes the energy, right? I
Right.
mean, that's how it works. I mean, the wave is the energy.
Right.
Whether it's wind or tsunami or whatever, it's heading that way. They're like, I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'd sign up for this. This doesn't sound kosher to me. It sounds kind of like I don't know.
Ponzi scheme?
Yeah, Ponzi scheme's as good as any. And they tried for years and years and years, and the best they could do was like a longboard knee-high wave. And I was like, I can get
really
that.
open like that?
They did. Well,
Really?
they never opened.
Oh.
They never opened,
Right.
but they showed video of, hey, we're
Right,
close.
right.
We've
But
got
mind you,
this
Typhoon
wave.
was at least bigger than that, and
Oh.
still in the same area, and already generating stuff and doing
Yeah,
things.
works. And it's fun.
Typhoon Lagoon's a little bit different wave.
Right.
I mean,
no,
'cause-
right, and
'cause
that was a draw part
Yeah.
as far as this Festival Bay one was that.
Well,
this is-
and different tech too.
Right.
I mean, because I worked at Disney for a while, and
and the Typhoons, what, like ballasts that get filled up and
basically
get dropped?
Yeah, just
and,
a big water column. You open up some big doors and
right,
whoosh.
right. The water drops out. So what was Festival like?
Festival Bay was like a hydraulic ram, where they would just literally push the water to create a wave.
Not push it all the way through like Kelly's technology in the Wave Garden.
No,
but
it was just a
like
reciprocating
back and forth,
hydraulic
back and forth.
ram to
Right.
push out a
That would take
wave.
so much force. It's such a quick.
Right?
Not an
according to
There
an
you
X
go.
amount of bottom.
I mean, yeah, the average person goes, it doesn't pass the sniff test. It
Right.
just doesn't make a lot of sense. But I am extremely excited about this Kelly Slater part going in.
Have you seen all the parks out there from the Wave Garden, Generation 1, Generation 2?
I've been watching 'em
to
on
the new
YouTube.
BSR cable in Waco, to Kelly's Park and stuff like that. And
we used to do it with our boats many years ago.
Right.
We would just get
it's the same concept as
we would
Kelly's.
just get a big
right,
boat.
Right.
We'd trim the motor down
Right.
as hard as we could.
Right. Go
and
by a
you'd hop
shallow
off
area.
the side.
Right.
I mean, that's all you're basically doing.
Right.
And that's all they're doing there. But
Right.
I know there's some different
Just costs a little bit more.
technology, the shape of it, and how fast they're pulling
Right.
it, and the bottom
Right.
contours and stuff. But
Same
bottom line, you just
There's
Same
only
theory.
one way to make a
Right.
wave.
No,
You're just making a big
that's
thing through
exactly
the
the
water.
theory. Where it came from was exactly that, boat wave.
Yeah, just like we talked about with the Galveston super tankers. That's basically what you got. You got a
That's
big
exactly
thing
what it
moving through the
is.
water.
I mean,
boat.
back in the day, I remember as kids, there was guys that would surf the super tankers that would come in during the summer,
Yeah.
right here in the cut of South Beach.
Yeah, I mean, you just
They'd wait for that
the
one time.
water's-
They'd see it come, and I remember just hearing stories of Jerry Burdine and Mikey Watson, just being like they would see the tanker from so far out, they'd be able to run over to their apartment around the corner or somewhere else and just grab their boards, and they would all just wait on the other side of the cut on the inlet and just wait for that boat to come close. They jump in the water, and all of a sudden, as that wave got pushed forward and got closer to the jetty,
It would break.
it would break. It'd be like
Yeah.
a little waist-high wave
Yeah.
pulling through.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge mystery about how to make a wave, but Slater and company and the Wave Garden folks, they've obviously done a little bit more design
Refining.
to make it what they have. I mean, those videos.
There's a lot more money
Oh
involved.
wow, they're so fantastic. I'm just, if I could afford to be there the day that it opened, I'd be like, here you go. I don't care how much it costs. I want to be number one.
Right.
But my guess is if they have a 24-hour, operation where they're running 24 hours a day because, just to get the numbers through,
Right.
I'm going to be like having to do the discount time slot at 3 a.m. I'll buy
like getting ice
I'll
time.
buy the 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. slot on January 21st so that I can have the pool and have some fun. But
New Year's Day, 7 a.m. That's my slot.
Something crazy, where it's just it's going to be kind of chilly, but I don't care. I want to have that experience of that just repeatable wave to see, just that pure spirit of the wave. I'm not. Is it going to close out on me? Is it going to section up, or somebody going to drop in on me, or what? Just boom, go. It'd just be tremendous.
So one of the interesting things that I saw the folks at BSR doing recently is actually making the distinction that their wave isn't perfect the same every single time.
Oh.
They're trying to show that they actually are more
Closer to what a real ocean wave is like.
They're just
in
like,
the
look,
sense of-
this is like what it's like when it blows onshore. This is what it's like when it blows offshore.
Right.
It happens.
No,
This is the first wave of the set.
What-
This is the second
what-
wave of the set. I'm like, oh, variation within like a machine.
Do they have a guy
environment.
throwing boogie boards at you every now and then? Just to,
Dodgeballs.
just to make it a little bit more realistic for maybe you guys down here. Like, oh, you gotta go around this.
That'd be- that would-
you can't dodge balls if you don't dodge wrenches.
Throw a shark in water, maybe. I don't know.
That would be fun.
That would be.
But it's true. Like I've surfed the park over at Austin, Texas, and it was true. I mean, like wind does change it up a little bit in regards. And for there, it was like it makes it textured, not textured. The bowl is
Yeah.
hard and whatever. But I could totally see that, like different windy conditions. And
Yeah, I think that's everywhere.
And whether it's
I
the
thought you were
first,
going to tell
second,
me
or
they
third wave.
speed it up or slow it down or
Oh,
something.
well, they do have that.
They can.
Too.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so they can make the wave bigger. Well, just like a typhoon, bigger, smaller. They have lefts, rights, barreling.
Yeah, well, even at Typhoon,
air
you could either rent the
sections.
pool out in the morning or rent the pool out in the evening.
Yep.
If you do it in the morning, there's a lot more water in the pool versus if you do it in the evening, there's not as much water because they've
Oh,
done
they
the whole-
evaporated out?
Well, they've
Or came out
done the
on
wave
guests?
pool all day. They've done
Yeah.
the regular wave pool that's for everybody else. It's not a wave pool, and it's just not as much water that's kind
I
of been
gotcha.
sitting there. And then at the same time, wind conditions.
And I'm really hoping that Slater, and I don't know about BSR, but I'm hoping they throw in salt water. I'm
a little
hoping.
more
I mean,
extra buoyancy.
That's fresh water.
Well, I mean,
I
that's
thought
gonna-
about that as
it's
well.
gonna
and
be
I-
so much harder on all the components.
Right,
Yeah,
that's what I was saying, but
you
it,
gotta,
like,
you got to throw a bigger board at it
Right.
to have the same kind of.
But can you
rip.
not? But then at that point, can you not build things out of like Kevlar or other things that? I mean, yes, your costs obviously go up, but can you, not?
You mean because of the wear and tear on the equipment because it's salt?
Right.
No. He's saying
Or brackish even.
Yeah, but chlorine's pretty darn caustic as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's.
But
I
they're
don't
not
know.
putting chlorine in these. I don't think.
Caustic.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
use that in Scrabble next time.
I don't know. I'm just.
No, my brother said they're not.
Oh,
No,
well,
'cause he's done both ones in Texas.
it's like a okay. But are they salt or more fresh?
No, it's fresh. It's like,
See,
it's
it
like
seems like a
pond.
drag. I'd rather pay the price and have that extra buoyancy so you could use. Well, I could use a 7'6" board or something instead of having to go and get a
make it epoxy.
9.2. I haven't. My 9.6 is epoxy. I'm just a big guy. You don't
6'7".
You don't.
All right, listen,
225.
Wave Garden, Kelly Slater, Wave Company. It's just not going to happen freshwater with this guy. So you're going to have to change the whole thing over to salt.
That's
We
right.
want like Dead Sea
Soon.
salinity.
He's willing to pay just for the January 20th.
I'll bring my own
3
thing of
a.m.
salt.
session.
Don't even need
I'll
a board.
bring my own salt.
It's like, oh, just
Yeah,
Body
like,
treatment.
one thing of
Just
Epsom
wine
salt
wrap.
for
How
the
much
thing, and then
how
another
much
thing
can it
Epsom salt to
possibly
soak
take?
in.
I got a thing. Just
have the dispenser in front of the board, Joe.
yeah, just right in front of me.
But so
By the way, my first surf shot, this boy right here. First surf shot ever. No,
Oh.
you, Joe, you.
so we got
I got it on my fridge.
we got
I think I have it on my
we got
fridge.
Lulazada out here in the audience.
in the audience.
That was the 6'2"
Commenting on-
Mike
Oh,
Daniels.
shit,
Applause.
get him on the mic.
There it is.
I was just saying that Joe was the very first surf shot I ever took back in college.
Joe was.
Yeah, that was probably off of Cocoa Beach.
Was he in the water or still on the beach?
I was digging in the cooler at the time.
With that confused face, like. You're like, got you, buddy. Got you surfing. Here you go.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's another, I guess.
So it'd be
happening.
interesting
Lou's doing a
as-
show at Leica in Coral Gables, first week in
July-
August 9th.
August 9th.
August 9, I want to see everybody from South Beach out there.
Where's it at?
At the Leica Store Miami over on Miracle Mile.
I gotta check
Super
that
cool,
Close to
man.
City Hall.
Sick. I love Miracle Mile. Random note.
Anything else we want to talk about today, or are we just going to get out of here?
You know, let's go home.
Anything else, Joe?
Man, I've had a great time. I'm glad I came down this weekend with my wife. She had a conference, and
Wife
she said, "Hey, I got a free room at the Marriott. You want to go down?" And I was like,
Stanton Marriott right here on
haven't
Second?
seen
Nice.
Lou in a while. I'll go hang out with him. And he's like, "Hey, let's go over see the guys at the surf shop."
And he literally just walked by, and we're just like, oh, Keegan, our little intern that was supposed to be here that we are going to go ahead and actually have on the show tonight, was just like, I got a little water polo tournament at 5 o'clock. Keegan, that's how you sound, by the way. And we're like, have at it, go win, of which he texted us and said, we won! So we're kind of stoked for you, and... here we
we got
go.
a
We
great
got Joe
stand-in.
Spy
Well,
just coming in out of the blue.
hope I added a little entertainment to your
It was good. It was
to your
good.
show.
It was good to hear a little viewpoint about up
Yeah.
in the northern areas.
And also the engineering behind the wave
Yeah.
pools and just
And
the whole bit.
it's funny that you have that perspective on the wave pools, but have never touched it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
I had a great time.
kind of want to hear what it sounds like when you do.
Yeah.
I mean, you
That
almost
sounds-
have to
that
go
sounds
ahead and
like a
do your
repeat
little.
guest.
You almost have to do your Typhoon Lagoon little.
No, they've been asking me to do my trip again. No. Maybe. Joe, I'll let you know.
Yeah, well,
We've
you
done
know,
a Typhoon Lagoon trip every year for the last couple of years.
I hear about it because Lou sometimes stops by at my place on the way back.
Right.
So it's one of the times I get the chance to see my buddy here.
Right
So
on.
maybe we can coordinate something.
That sounds like a good time.
All right.
Bradley,
then.
walk us out of here.
Let's get the hell out of here. It's episode 23, June 22nd.
There we go.
Joe Spy, Brad Wells, Chris,
Della.
Caleb. We got a studio audience. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you next week.
I'll be in California,
But you'll see him. Maybe.
but you'll see me.
Yeah.
Or somewhere. Or maybe up in there.
We'll bring him in.
All right, guys.
Teleconference.
Cheers.
Late.